Hey everyone, welcome back. So last week I mentioned that this emoji, or the face with tears of joy, was not only the most popular emoji used as of June 2017, but it was also the Oxford Dictionary 2015 Word of the Year, which is pretty amazing to me considering that it isn't even a word. But according to research conducted by Swift Media, it might as well be a word because 74% of us regularly use emoticons or emojis in place of words in our digital communication. In fact, they estimate that on any given day, there are more than 6 billion of these little guys hurling through cyberspace in our digital messages. Beyond the way that emojis have just become a normal part of our daily communication, brands and companies are jumping on board too. For example, check out Mentos' new branded emoticons, or emoticons, as they call them, and they're available for the Mint brand socially savvy fans to use. And Mentos isn't alone. IKEA launched 100 emoticons, including, of course, its Swedish meatballs, and they claim that we'd all get along a little bit better if we just had more domestically themed emojis like these to help us. Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, Coca-Cola has been experimenting with emojis as part of their messaging strategy, and they created 30 emoticons that the brand dubbed Emoticoke. The brand registered URLs for every emoji that conveys happiness, and entering any of these happy icons into a mobile web browser along with the .ws suffix takes you to the Coca-Cola Puerto Rico website. By the way, if you're wondering what the .ws domain is, as I did, it's actually the abbreviation for Western Samoa. But Coke has renamed it We Smile. And here's another one. One funky little restaurant in London called the Little Yellow Door has a menu written entirely in emojis. And in keeping with the techie theme, diners can WhatsApp their order to a number listed on the menu, or they can do it the old-fashioned way and just tell a server. I've found all of this very fascinating, but if you've followed me at all, you know that I'm always curious about what's going on upstairs. Like what happens up here when we send or receive these little graphic expressions? So I did a little digging. And remember that whole concept of emotional contagion basically means that we tend to mimic the emotional state of those around us. For example, if you encounter someone with an angry scowl on his face, then your brain is going to respond with that same kind of anger. Conversely, when we see or hear someone laughing, our own brain will pick up that happiness. As it turns out, emotional contagion applies to emojis too. And scientists have discovered that when we see these little ideograms, the same parts of the brain are activated as when we look at a human face. In fact, we even tend to mimic the same emotion that's in the emoji in our own micro expressions. So sending this face with tears of joy is likely to make your recipient smile, while this one is likely to do just the opposite. This is because they're recognized and processed by the brain as nonverbal information, which just means that we read them as emotional communication, not words. Basically, the brain processes them the same way that it processes the expressions and the gestures that we receive in face-to-face communication. What's really interesting, though, is that this is an entirely culturally created neural experience. It's a neurological response that our brains have actually developed with the emergence of emoticons and emojis. Here's another little factoid for you. The first smiley face emoticon appeared in a post to the Carnegie Mellon University General Board in 1982. Before 1982, there would be no reason that seeing this symbol would stimulate an emotional response. But today, it does, because we associate it with happiness. So, the next time you craft that emoji-filled text message, keep in mind that you're actually creating an emotional response in the person who receives it. You have a lot to do, whether they smile or frown. Pretty amazing, right? Want to learn more about how the brain works and how you can make it work better for you? Check out my book, Happier with Einstein. And remember, life is always better when you share the good stuff.